Artificial intelligence has officially hit the woodworking and design community. Now, I've been getting served insane renderings of things that my brain could never comprehend. So it got me thinking, why don't I see if AI can redesign some of my best builds from over the years? So that's exactly what we're gonna do. So in 2020, I designed and built this cave table that looked like it was floating with some acrylic legs. It was really cool and one of my most popular videos on the channel. We gave it away last year in our Black Friday giveaway, and I've been super sad since, and I just genuinely miss it. So I'm gonna have artificial intelligence redesign that cave table, and then I'm gonna try to build it. Now, this could get completely out of hand. First, these AI tools are designing things that are not really that possible in the real world, and so it could get ridiculous. Two, sometimes when they do design things, they're so complex that it could take me no less than the rest of my life to complete. And three, with that comes the fact that it's gonna cost me an arm and a leg to build some of these things. So I have the utmost apprehension to this video, but you can't learn unless you try. So because I love yins and I love torturing myself, I have to give this a shot. So let's get to it. All right, so Chris has something called Midjourney that he can input prompts into and it'll spit out an image. So basically, if he could type in SpongeBob chair and it'll make a chair that looks like SpongeBob. So more or less, my idea here is I'm gonna have him input my cave table into the software, and we'll see what the software, the AI, thinks would be super cool.
We put in prompts. I import the photo of the old cave table so that way it has a reference, and we just say like kind of redo this, make it more like a cave, make it cooler, and hopefully it works.
This is one of the ones that runs off of Discord. So it just looks like a forum that's constantly populating with other people's weird stuff. Cave table, modern, realistic, ooh, and then a link to my video. Send it. Oh, dude, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Ooh,
dude, the clarity of these renderings are insane. Now, like I was saying, like you can't make this in the real, well, maybe you, I don't know, dude.
No, like the way that this is, you probably could.
That's,
because that's connected in the back, it looks like.
That is super, I mean, that's close to the one that I made.
Mm-hmm.
This is really gnarly, but like, can we take these and like have it be like, you know,
like kind of varieties of them or variations.
Yeah.
So which one do you like the most?
Which one do I like the most? I think I like this one, the bottom left one the most. Because we gotta figure out how to make it like functionally exist. Input it again, just be like, make it epic.
I think you have to be more specific.
Add glass and more detail. Dude, now this is what I'm talking about.
This actually is super doable in the CNC.
Not very cavey, but that's totally like a
topographical map.
Yeah, this is super cool. Even though we're on camera, I want exactly what you fucking prompted earlier that you fucked it up because I wanted it on camera.
It gets to decide on its own. It's AI, I don't prompt.
Chris, don't put this in yet because I want to get it on camera. I gotta test it. Now the ones coming up on camera are nowhere close to as cool. Damn computers. I could have been done by now. I've been here for 10 minutes.
Yeah, right.
We just kept like refining and revisiting and seeing what there was, and I think I've narrowed it down. These are some of my favorites here that I have up on my screen. Dude, just such a cool tool for ideas. A lot of these are not capable of being done in the real world. With those limitations in mind, here are my top picks. One, I really love this one. I think that this is not only doable, but also really friggin' cool looking. This is my number two. I think this one has some elements in it that are really, really rad. That would be good to incorporate. I really like this one as a third, but our last rendering actually gave us this one, which is bumping up for me to number three because I kind of like the shape and a lot of the application of how things are moving inside of it. So all that being said, I want it to, you know, still look like a piece of furniture, but reflect what we're trying to do here, which is elevate my cave table from the past, one. Two, make a functional piece of furniture. We can't just have something that's like floating in space that's not real.
It's not real!
Starting out on the first one, my thought is I can take this concept, I'm gonna be able to create multiple parts. So my thought was if I take this leg, I can create this out of a couple blocks of wood and carve that down and do the same thing on this side here. With that, I'll be able to get the interior and the exterior, but I'll mock them up in order to do all of it so it's seamless and then glue it together in one last final glue up. I'll be able to then come up to the top and get this attachment point here, which would make it really difficult to get inside. Kind of create this interior and exterior cave, which my last table did have. What I want to include from some of these other designs are, in this one, I have a love for this top. In order to do that, I'm going to have to build the top as its own piece. Also make sure the grain orientation makes sense so this table doesn't absolutely explode apart. Some of the elements that I like on these other two tables are gonna be just the way it uses layers on the bottom down here to create depth. All in all, I'm super pumped about what we've got going on here. More or less, I came up with this insanely rudimentary drawing. I wanna have like an open area and bunch of crap going on in there. I'm gonna have to segment out the parts to be able to carve them and potentially like flip it over. I'm just gonna start laminating wood on top of one another. This should get interesting quick. So I have a stack of walnut. I'm gonna build a bunch of crap that kind of looks like this. And then I'm gonna make these layers stack on top of one another so that I can carve like the inside and the outside. And then I'll have to like perfectly glue all of these up. It's gonna take me a while. Super fun. A lot of thinking in this guy. I usually don't like to do any thinking. I think what I'm gonna do is just cut these into like half size and we'll go from there. Now that we've got square parts, just gonna start trying to get a layout here. Almost no rhyme or reason. I got a good 6-inch yield out of everything, so that puts us at 30 inches wide. I think I had the table at 28, so I was originally gonna kind of do it in layers this way, but from a glue up standpoint, I think it might be easier to do these chunks. This will make a little bit more sense here in a sec. So it'll get weird, but you can kind of see I'm looking for something that like kind of comes like this, and then you'll see it'll wrap around, and then we'll have the opportunity to do like an internal cave, sort of matches that one drawing that we saw. So you'll be able to see in, just like my other one. I don't know if that makes no sense, but does it? Because I think it does, but it doesn't. What's great is I gotta mill just as much lumber as I just milled because we used all of it. What I might do is do like a shorter carpet. You know what? I'm just gonna start stacking stuff and then I'll talk to you because I don't know what plan I'm on right now. Part of me is like, let's connect her. I have no clue I'm gonna glue this up. The more I keep going, I'm like, this looks rad. I'm glueless. Where am I? All right, so this sort of kind of maybe a little bit resembles what I was thinking from the get-go. She weird. One of the things that I really liked about the AI version was that it kind of had this like swooping thing here that came up into the top. This will taper down, look like a pool. Kind of like I said at the beginning, I do not know how I'm gonna get this together. The reason I'm doing it this way is because of the grain orientation has to all be going the same way or else the table's just gonna explode apart, which we don't want, obviously. Woo! What do you think? Does it look awesome? Will it cave?
Ooh, you mean like claps on itself, or will it look like
Both.
That looks awesome, man. I like what you did here, and you carried it all the way through on this side.
Well, because I need to like glue it up and then temporary glue it up and then carve it. Like if I had the top on, there's no way I could get inside here. I could flip it over, but then I'm carving like to my chest. Oh, I think it looks like a Minecraft turd right now. Probably gonna have to take it in sections. Originally, I thought those sections would be this way, but I'm thinking now, like I'm gonna have to glue these 5 and then these 4. Same thing over there. And then I can use a paper trick or a dowel or something to align them. So I can do like the lower layer, add the top, come do that, do it in chunks, and then the top. I'd more or less CA glue them together, carve it, pop it apart, and then glue it back together permanently, and then final carve it. So I'm gonna glue the top off, and then I need to think. One glue up, done. Okay, all these parts we got planed down. We are at 5 3/4 inches. We're perfectly smooth on both sides. What I'm doing is making sure I have perfect mating surfaces for glue up to make this thing look good. So I need to take all the parts. I jointed one side. I'm just gonna put the rest on a little sled because they won't go through the planer on their own. And if I joint them, table saw is obviously not gonna be able to rip this. So if I put them on a sled like this, and I can run them through the planer and get everything to a uniform thickness. I got lucky there. No, I didn't. Shit. Kind of worked. You can see on the butts of them, I laid out a bunch of stuff. I don't really remember how I laid them out because I'm stupid, but I think I'm gonna go about trying to just recalibrate the way I had this. Now I have to try and assemble the top upside down. That way I can try and put them all right side up.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Right, so there's the top here. It looks weird, I know. I originally thought I wouldn't be able to get in there, but I'm thinking like now that I have it kind of glued up, if I don't put the top on, I can get in there and flip that sucker around. I'm gonna glue it up in 2 parts. I'll make the call on the next phase. Let's get the top flat. Oh, Sandy. So we're out of glue up, and what we're running into now is another issue. Go figure. If you can see, we're really close, but I gotta get these perfectly level in order to make sure that the top and the bottom seat perfectly together. I guess with the clamping pressure, for whatever reasons, it didn't work. So I'd love to throw it on the CNC, but it's about 1 inch too tall, so I can't. Gotta do it by hand. So I'm not good enough with the router plane to keep all 4 of these posts in coplanar. I think I need to come up with a router jig to kind of just drop something on top of it. I got an idea. So I don't have a ton of throw, but what I can do is keep this back part pinned here, and I'll just swing back and forth and go as far as I can on it until I run out of space. This will give me the exact same height all the way around. This should give me perfectly flat reference points. I think it did the trick. We're looking pretty good. The seams are pretty tight. I guess it's time to start making this thing look like something that is completely different than what it is right now. Yay! And I'm not necessarily gonna copy it 100% per se, but I can definitely start working on some of these more like jagged aspects. One thing I really like is how this like steps up and then down. This is gonna take a lot of back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Do this first so I can take these pieces apart and have them match. I think I'm gonna start working on these outsides, and then I'll come back, mock it up again, start marking on what I want on the outsides here. It's most important for me to get this curve established on both sides and kind of find a way to make it match in between over anything else to start, I think. To me right now, being the idiot that I am, this makes sense. Let's go carve. Per usual, we're gonna be using our cuts-all discs. I got the extreme and the coarse ones out to hog off most of the starting material. I'm just gonna start out, like I said, shaping, working my way around. I don't have a great plan for this guy, except for that I have a plan. I know that makes 0 sense to me too. Time to shut up and work, let's get it. So I'm digging the shape of it so far. I'm gonna try and get a little bit more of the stalagmite, stalactite kind of vibe going on inside here. We'll see how well that goes. But we had a brilliant idea that I think you guys are gonna like, and we're calling it the John Cam. Check this out. So we're making some headway. I'm gonna try something here with the burr to maybe kind of give some peaks on a few of these parts in here. I want it to look like kind of like a pool. I want the shape to kind of be defined before I get into it. So I'm thinking to carve that next. I mean, if you haven't noticed, I'm keeping this thing super organic. I'm gonna bring this edge in a little bit and then I'll spin it. I'm working with them over the sides of the table so I don't gouge my work surface. I'm super happy with it so far. Power carving is a ton of fun and I think this thing's looking kind of rad. So let's get back at it. To get inside some of these corners, I have to stand it up like this. So I actually caught myself and I stopped kind of shaping the outside so I could have those square references because I knew I was gonna be moving it. And I can shape the outside once I get everything glued up, but the inside, I can't. So I have to do that part as much as I can now. It's looking pretty damn cool. This is, just put the top piece on to make sure I'm not going too crazy with anything yet. And if you look from this side and then we pop up the photo, we are getting there. Try and get those things all to shape in the one kind of wall. I think I'm gonna start on the top. All right, friends, I am back outside. It is day 2 of carving. Probably put 3 hours into this sucker yesterday, and it's looking super solid. It's looking pretty rad. I'm pretty pumped about it so far. So I think I'm gonna come at it. I'm gonna attack this side a little bit. We wanna get some ledges in here. Joe and I were talking, and it would look really cool if we could have, you know, some rocks kind of jutting out. So something I forgot to do yesterday was tuck my damn shirt in, because I had walnut and crevices I didn't even know existed. Let's go. I think I've got as much rough shaping as I want to get done on the inside parts that I need to keep flipping it around. I want to start now kind of shaping the outside as it's gonna live. The final, I wanna be doing it with the smooth cuts-all. So I think what I'm gonna do to make this work is I'm gonna take double-sided tape and tape the top to the bottom, shape it rough, and then pop it apart and start sanding and doing some refinement before I do final glue up. That makes the most sense to me. That, and I'm just gonna keep walking around in circles to make it really hard on my camera guy. Oh, I don't know if you can see this, but like this thing is just mutilating my hand and my arm. I didn't want to wear gloves because I'm always fearing that the gloves are gonna get caught in the cutter head, but I'm giving in. Shit hurts. So I'm gonna start refining with the cuts-all disc and get a little bit cleaner and tighter. There's a lot of tear out. It doesn't show up as well on camera, but I think it'll start to really smooth this thing out, looking like real rock. Then what we're gonna do is take it apart. We're gonna flip the top over, put it onto the top that I glued up, trace the area that I want to be a void. Then cut a pocket where that void's gonna be on the CNC to fit a piece of acrylic that'll look like a glass or a moat or a pool or whatever the hell I want it to look like on top, so it looks close to the rendering. I think that order of operation makes the most sense, so I need to put my spacesuit on and get back to sucking dust in my own farts. Is it too rocky? Is it full-blown Philadelphia Balboa? What? You never... I'll go ahead and I'll keep kind of giving these sharper lines and make them look like separate, more or less, stones that are stacked around or just like rock formations. A lot of that abrasiveness will come out with the sanding process too, so it'll smooth it up and look like a rock wall instead of like a bunch of stacked rock too. I'm tired. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.
Okay, so after sleeping on it, I talked to the team and I also talked to Blake from BM Sculptures, who is the king of YouTube sculpting, at least in my opinion. Awesome dude. He had a great idea. Give me 1 second. You guys remember the tabletop? He was like, dude, why don't you do resin instead of acrylic? And I really didn't want to because I thought it would be too difficult, but turns out I can do it with the top. So what I'll do is, what I'm thinking is I take the top as is, separate this, put the top onto it, trace it, cut myself out a pocket, and then I can put it back together, carve some of the texture into the top itself, and then I'll backfill that whole thing with clear resin and make that look like the lake on top that I was kind of going for. If you look at the AI thing. Probably shouldn't have sprinted with that. Oh, I'm getting old. Thought it was brilliant. So I'm gonna take this apart because I have to anyway. Next step is to start working on the inside, but I'm gonna work on this top first. Maybe we'll get that poured today. Ah, don't break it, don't break it, don't break it. Okay, that will be our lagoon on top. Is that too much? It's not too much, never too much. All we do is F up pouring resin around here. How could it be too much? I'm gonna cut that out. Make sure you don't get his calves in the footage. People don't need to see that. They also don't need to see his 2002 gym shorts.
They're not gym shorts.
They're not? That's even worse. Yeah, we just gotta take like a pubic hair off of the top here. So you take that on the CNC?
Yeah.
It's under 8, so should be good. You could take the whole table. Well, I can't work on this till that's done.
It doesn't fit.
Really?
See that bolt?
I hate everything. So if you start the pass down here and jog it this way and bring it below where those bolts are, it should clear as it comes across. So we can just set the bottom of our Z to like a nut hair underneath that.
Yeah, you just said you wanted to take like a little tiny.
I did, but I mean, we gotta solve a damn problem, right?
Yeah.
We need it flat. Rule of thumb, always get the most unnecessary tool you can in order to do tasks like this. I love that. Target. It worked! Great job, buddy!
Yay!
I'm pretty dumb. I just need to set this down so I can put double-sided tape on that. We're going to take this, flip it. You can kind of see where my marks were. Just get it close. So now I'm gonna attempt to sculpt this all in on the inside, and then I'll get that like sanded so we can build a mold and hopefully pour some clear resin, which has been kicking my ass lately. And I'm not gonna rush it because God forbid I make videos and they come out for the same people who ask me why I don't make more videos. So I want to sand it while it's together so I can get the inside of where we're going to pour the resin nice and smooth. What we're going to do is build a little mold around the top. I've got the interior sanded so that way when I pour the resin, it'll still look tidy. But I really do want to make sure I'm getting above the surface on this, so we decided to just go the whole way around and wrap it. And then for the sake of attempting to not have it stick this time, which seems to be something I forgot how to do.
We put mold release, right?
It never happened.
We're gonna put Tyvek on the bottom of this sucker. Ran out of the American tape. We gotta use this Canadian tape now. This tape has like boogers on it. Go get acetone in a rag, please. So we're not cleaning that. And that's how many screws we're gonna use to hold it down. I want to seal the edges, and you can do it a multitude of ways. What I'm going to do is thin out some just regular high performance with kind of 1-to-1 some acetone, and then I'll paint that on the edges. It's basically the same formula as their penetrating epoxy. Pretty sure it was acetone. Yeah, it's acetone.
I gotta get out of here. I think I'm gonna lose it.
So John decided to take a vacation, left us to our own devices. So we have a mold prepped and ready to go. We just need to put some mold release in it and then put the top to the cave table in there and pour some epoxy. All right, so we just took the pour out of the Emporium and then we're gonna try to demold it now. Oh yeah, thing is clear as f. Wow, look how clear that came out. Jeez. These are all just marks left in the epoxy from the tape. So once we run this thing through the belt sander, I think that's what we're gonna have to do to make sure we don't take off too much.
This is looking amazing, super flat, and ready for carving. So I've got some more double-sided tape on the tabletop. The last heavy carving that we need to do is get the edge profile to match the top so it all looks seamless. The last little bit of carving, I think. Moves the line up absolutely perfect. Gotta get a little weight on her. Don't worry about me. Stop worrying. Let's go carve. Before I make a mess of myself and this table, check out this new merch. We've got these a little bit more of a casual fit tees that I'm absolutely loving. We've got this, got a couple more designs coming. Gotta make sure you check out the website. Now, finally, I can get to work. Gotta say, she's looking pretty awesome. Incredible how much heavier it is. I mean, I don't know, it looks super cool. Super cool. So I've got the outside completely rough sanded, and I think it's looking pretty rad. The next phase may kill me. It's gonna be a huge pain in the butt. I've got to take the top off, polish all of the epoxy resin so that it's close to crystal clear as we can get it. Sand all of the interior parts to 220, then glue this thing together, final sand to the outside, eliminate all the scratches, all the swirl marks, then it'll be ready for finish.
Come back in a couple of years.
All right.
I know that face and that look. There's judgment coming. No. There's judgment coming. Okay, all jokes aside, it's time to glue this thing up. I've put no less than 8 hours into sanding just to 80 grit. There's some scratches and stuff, but this thing's supposed to look like a cave. I'm going to get some glue on these 4 posts, and then we got to do the top. I'm trying to eliminate as much squeeze out as possible. So in order to do that, I'm gonna bring the glue just to the edge and hope I don't get any crazy spill over. We're gonna use the salt trick to keep stuff from shifting. More or less, this is all the salt we've got, but we're just gonna take some salt and pinch it on top. And you don't need a ton, you're not seasoning a steak. You're just trying to keep the pieces from sliding around. So I'll hand this to Chris on that side. And then we're gonna go 1, 2, just straight down. Repeat the process. When we get to the top, we're just gonna do our best to keep everything from sliding around. The edges should line up, so go, yep, cool, good. Moment of truth. I'm gonna loosen the 1,000 clamps on, it's actually probably only like 20, but loosen these up, give this sucker a look, see if it falls apart, and then we get to kind of blend these in and do the final sanding on the outside, and then we'll be ready for finish and final reveal. Let's go! I think she looks pretty sweet, I'm not gonna lie. It definitely needs some blending to tighten her up, but like, I kinda love it. Damn, that looks good! All right, let's get this sucker cleaned up. So I've secretly been giving Chris a hard time for the entire duration of this project for no reason except for the fact we're dudes in a workshop and that's what we do to one another. But he absolutely loves this thing. He thinks it's awesome and I'm gonna give it to him at the end of the build. He has no clue, so I'm gonna continue to bust his balls throughout the rest of this, but I think he'll be pretty pumped about it. He just came out here and I sent him back in the office because he wore shorts to work, and so it should be pretty funny when I finally reveal it to him. Okay, so we are ready for finish. We're gonna spray it upside down first so I can get in all these cracks and crevices the best that I can, and then flip it over. It's gonna take a while. Once again, gonna suck up a bunch of time, so I'll see you guys in like 5 days. Let us spray! Got a couple coats of finish on. What do you think about the clarity?
I think it looks good. I don't know, what do you think? Do you want it like crystal clear, or do you kind of like this like hazy?
I like it, I'm curious, do you like it?
I think it looks great. It's hard to tell if it would look better if it was crystal clear. Yeah. Not, it's like, some don't have anything to like reference, but I think it looks awesome.
Do you though?
I do. What do you guys think? That's the important part.
Do you want to put it in your house?
Hell yeah. Don't you?
Well, it's yours.
No way.
Yeah,
Are you serious? Dude. Yeah. Oh my God, dude. What?
Let's show him the B-roll. And that is gonna end what has been no less than the most difficult thing I think I've ever built. It turned out sick. I wanna know what you think. I also wanna know, should we try this again? Should I have AI build one of my other projects? Let me know.